Hi everyone, WebLogic on Docker. This is Pavan Devarakonda talking about Docker WebLogic learning by examples. Building Docker image for WebLogic 12.2.1.2, that is 12c. The main objective is we are going to install WebLogic and create a WebLogic domain using WLSD and then start WebLogic admin server using the container. The prerequisites, we have already installed WebLogic prerequisites, that is Java in the previous created image. Understanding the power of Java Docker file. So how we are going to create a Docker file that will be install WebLogic. Container scripts, there are two different scripts, WLSD and shell script. WebLogic installation in the Docker container. To do this, while building the image itself, we can write in a Docker file. So here in Oracle WebLogic downloaded source code, we are able to see dockerfile.developer. Using that Docker file, it is going to construct the WebLogic installation. Create images, and you are going to use the base as a server JRE8, and it is going to install in silent mode installation WebLogic. So there are three different options we have: quick installer for development, generic installation for general purpose, and infrastructure is for SOA and Fusion middleware products. There are two different files. One is inventory, Oracle inventory, that is stored in ora.inst.loc file, and response file, that is it is going to have all the answers which is required to install the software on your container. Let us go to the build and how it is going to work. In a short, we are going to see. We logged into the Vagrant box. In this box, you can see the Docker images. In the last time we have created server JRE. So based on this image, we are going to create. So to do this, go to the Docker images, go to the Oracle WebLogic. In the WebLogic directory, you are going to have the Docker files. Then the latest version 12.2.1.2. So here I have just copied the Fusion middleware disk, the zip file, the WebLogic binary, that is quick installer. Once this is copied, and then it is going to work in creating the Docker image. So here we have checksums. We don't want to use the checksums. We already copied this software into this directory. Ignoring that and going further, looking into the Docker file .developer. Docker file developer. So in the Docker file .developer, there are instructions. You can follow the same and you can execute. So the latest version we are going to build. So the build instruction is also given. You can run this command to build, and the option it is going to take once this image is built, then you can run the containers. So in this Docker file from the server JRE, it is making the base and it is going to create a image. Under that, environment variables are defined. In environment variables, Oracle home user memory arguments, path variable, and it is going to create a user for us, and the user is going to have the access to the home directory u01 Oracle. Then copying the container scripts, we have container scripts, shell scripts, and Python script. So these two files are copied to the u01 Oracle directory. Then environment variables, again it is going to set up the script file and the domain name, and then domain home admin port, all these are defined, and you want to change anything, you can change in this one. So I just want to maintain, I want to create one domain that is generally UAT stuff. So I want to make multiple containers, so each one is going to use for the different testing purpose. Here the environment variable is using that zip file, and then once it is copied, then it is going to extract that file. Jar file will be used for running the installer. So the jar file is created, then you are going to run it is going to execute WebLogic installation process, ignoring the system prereqs. It is also reads the home directory from the same line. When the container is created, the container, whenever you connect it, the container current directory, working directory, you want to see, that is the Oracle home, that is. And when it is started, the container is started, immediately it is going to run the command shell script. Script is available, create and start empty domain.sh, and this script will be the first script that will be executed from the container. You have to run this build. There are multiple options. We want to use the -d for developer option, and we want to give the version. So the version is 12.2.12 with the -v option. Now it is extracting and copying. It is layer by layer, it is constructing the image and copying the files. Every step it is showing on the screen, displayed on the screen. Once the disk, the quick installer is extracted and the jar file is created, now the installation process begins here. Simple command line installation. First it is initially checking for the JDK installation, Java home, and if it is satisfied, then proceeding further. While it is installing, we'll part what we have. The Docker file is built with the command docker build command, and then we are able to create a new image, Docker image, that contains the WebLogic installed. There are container scripts. One is wlsd script, where it is going to create the domain, WebLogic domain. There are a lot of WebLogic scripting examples are there in wlsd by examples. You can also look into the script, shell script, which is automatically enabling the node manager port exposing, and then it is ready for the automatic restart of the admin server. The container is started, it is going to run this script, and automatically it will brings up the WebLogic admin server with no time. Very quick output you are going to get from the WebLogic server. So it is going to create one container with these two scripts. Once the WebLogic domain is created, the domain will be a read and write layer, where your log files will be keep on updating in the topmost layer, and under that whatever you have, that is a static, or you can say read only image. So to run the container, you are going to use the command docker run command. When you are going to get one. So let us see how much it is progressed now. Just keep going on. So in the meantime, we can look into the scripts, wlsd by examples. In this directory we have container scripts. So in the container scripts we have two files. One is Python script, another one is a shell script. Let us see the Python script. Create WLS domain. So in this script it is going to take some of the environment variables which we have defined in the Docker file. That variables are copied, and if you are not providing any variables, environment variables, it is automatically take the default values. So domain name, you can see base underscore domain. If you are not provided in the Docker file, it will be replaced automatically. Base os.environ.get. Get is going to use the second argument what we have passed. 7001 will be the default port for the admin port. We are going to get it, and then we have the WebLogic domain created, automatically created based on the domain template wls.jar. So this is the same thing which we are going to have in the generic installer, and also with the infrastructure we are going to have the wls.jar, and that will be able to provide us to create a WebLogic domain. So once you are setting up the name, and then you are going to use username, passwords, and name for the server, and also you are going to set the password. Once you are set, you are good for going for the setting up the node manager properties. The node manager properties are set, then you can go ahead and do the saving of this domain. Write domain is a command in the WLSD. Then close the template which you are opened, that is wls.jar. So once that is done, then exit from the WLSD. So this part will be automatically executed once the container is created. The shell script, straightforward, that is automatically called whenever that container or any Linux box you are going to launch. It is going to run the initial init or RC scripts. So this RC script, so run level script, it is going to execute whenever container is starts up. So first it is going to check, there are some functions, start and stop functions are there, and it is going to validate the values, and then accordingly it is going to work. So there are exception handlings with the trap command, and it is going to identify if the signal, it is the process ID is available, then it is going to kill that, and it is going to start that. So WebLogic admin server log file will be generated when the domain contains the admin server. So admin server is started, then automatically it is going to write one admin password. It is dynamically generated, auto generated, and this file, that display, you are going to see from the log file. The WebLogic shell script, this start weblogic.sh, we are going to execute here. That actual start admin is happening here, and then touch the log file and see the log file. So this is what the container is going to give the output. This script, the shell script output, we are going to get as a docker log file. Docker log, you can give the options, multiple options are there. So details will be giving this admin server log file. So this admin server log file is running in the background. Whenever you want to see the domain container log files, you can see that. That is done, and we got the new container, the new image. So you can see that Docker images. So here we can see the latest image ID. So using this image, we want to see container. Here image ID you can give, that created the Docker container wlsadmin, and you can. So whenever the Docker container is running, it is going to provide us access to the host. It is accessible from the where the Docker engine is running. In that one you can execute this one. Alright, so when you enter here WebLogic and password required, and give the container ID or container name. So this is a WebLogic log file. So when you are going to see this WebLogic log, in the WebLogic log in the beginning, you can get the randomly generated WebLogic password. So use that password in the admin console. Got the WebLogic admin console, and if you want, you can change the password, and you can reuse. So my intention here is can we do a deployment in this WebLogic domain. So let us try that. Deployments, I'm going to the install, I'm trying to select the upload your file, select the choose file in the war file here, click next, deployment as an application, So the deployment name you can give date or time, or that is your choice. So here it is 17, and then for the next summary of deployment, click on finish button. It's deployed on top of admin server, so hopefully we are able to act. So what we have, same host 192.168. That is application up and running from the container. So that is accessible through the host machine IP address and port number what is we have mapped in the container. So these are the simple steps you can follow and create a WebLogic container. Similarly, you can create for development environment. You can also create for the UAT environment and FT environment as per as your project requirements. You can build a number of domains and application deployments. So in a high level summary of this session, WebLogic Docker topology uses registry. That registry what we have in hub.docker.com. So that is going to have a huge number of images, but we need to trust on official images. So once you take the Oracle Linux, we have the latest one, that Oracle Linux 7 Slim. We can get it from the search, and you can pull the image, and then you will be getting the image onto your machine. So Docker daemon running, that is Docker engine running machine, is going to have the image. New Docker build Docker files, so that we can build new images, and after creating the new image, you can run Docker run will be able to create new containers. So we created a Java container, we are going to create a WebLogic container, we are able to run the domain container. So this will be the process where it is going to have the easy access and less harm, and more time it is going to save for the development and operations team. DevOps best tool is Docker, and WebLogic is on top of it. Docker WebLogic learning by example. Please subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. We'll be stay connected with the next new session, new experiment.